I'm Rebecca Pigram, Public Information Officer for Rockingham County. Today, we are joined with Todd Hurst, the Tax Administrator here in the county. Todd, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely. Let's start. You are the Tax Administrator, the head of the Tax Department here in the county. Who are you, and what do you do here in the county?
My job as a tax administrator is to oversee the daily functions of the tax office, making sure that everything is handled by the North Carolina general statutes and by county standards and policies, of course.
Cool. So when did you start this position, and kind of give us a little bit of insight into who you are as a person?
I'm a Rockingham County native. I've lived here all my life. I've been with the Rockingham County Tax Department since April of 2007. Actually, when I first started with Rockingham County, I started as a tax appraiser. Then I was promoted to a senior appraiser, chief tax appraiser, tax appraisal supervisor, and then recently in October, I was promoted as to the tax administrator here with the county.
Okay, so we know about you now, so let's talk about the tax department. What comprises the Rockingham County Tax Department?
3 departments.
Okay.
You have collections, which deals with basically taking the money, making sure you know that we're billing everything that we tax. Then we have the listing department, which basically deals with going through and listing vehicles that are not permanently tagged, mobile homes, they have to list each year. And then you have business listings. From each business, they have to list like their business personal, which desk, chairs, and things like that each year. And appraisal, we value the property. We deal with putting all the components on the property, valuing it, making sure that we feel by our schedule of values we have it valued correctly. And then land records, which deals with transferring a property. That's
awesome. When you are fully staffed, how many people do you oversee?
23.
23. That's a good sized staff.
Yes. Yes, it's a very good sized staff. And, here recently we've had a bunch of retirees and so it's been learning for me too, even though I've been here this long.
Absolutely.
But I feel we've got a very good staff in place to work with the public. And that was my goal.
Awesome.
Was to make sure that the public is, satisfied with the help. Absolutely. I can't make everybody happy, but, I want to make sure that the staff are here willing to help people.
Absolutely. Well, that's wonderful. So what are the business hours of the Rockingham County Tax Department?
Our normal business hours are Monday through Friday from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m.
Let's talk about some important dates, because I know the tax department, like you said, collections, you make sure that everybody's paying their taxes on time and that kind of thing. I know that's what you guys at home are looking forward to. So let's talk about some important deadlines that you as the tax administrator have to foresee and have to make sure that we all hit at the right time. So let's talk about that a little bit.
Okay. Of course, one of our major important dates is all property tax payments are due by January the 5th.
Okay.
And they are considered delinquent on January the 6th. So according to North Carolina General Statute 105-360, property taxes are due by September 1st of the current year. However, because property taxes are not considered delinquent until January 5th of the following year, most people will wait to pay their taxes until closer to January. Now, if the 5th falls on a weekend or a holiday, then that year's property tax will not be considered delinquent until after the next following business day. On January 6th, any unpaid taxes become delinquent and will get an initial 2% interest add-on.
Oh, wow.
To the amount still due, and then an additional 0.75%, which is not a lot, but still it accrues on the 1st of each month for every month the balance is not paid in full.
Yeah, that can add up really quickly.
It can add up really quick. So I wanted to remind everybody to please remember the last week of December and first week of January is always our busy season. And remember holiday closures, inclement weather closings or delays, and January 5th especially. is the last day to pay for taxes not to be considered delinquent on January 6th.
So now that we've talked about that important January date, tell us how we can make sure we get our payments in on time.
Of course, what a lot of people like to do is come in and pay in the office. You know, check or cash in the office, or you can pay by credit card in the office.
Yep.
Or you can mail your payment in. But if you do mail your payment in, please make sure that it does have the January 5th postmark date on it, on the envelope. Because if it doesn't, it'll be delinquent.
So what address can folks send their tax payments to if they're going to send it through the mail?
We prefer them to mail them to us here directly.
Okay.
Because if you mail them on the address that shows on the bill, it's a Charlotte address, which I will not go over. We prefer them to get them here because it makes it simpler for us and be more get it. The address would be Rockingham County Tax Administration, P.O. Box 68, Wentworth, North Carolina, 27375-0068. We have several other options available to choose from.
Perfect. I was going to ask, we're in the age of technology now, so what are the options that folks at home have to make those property payments?
You can pay online.
Okay.
We have a toll-free number to make payments over the phone.
Okay.
And we also have a drop box here in front of the governmental center.
Perfect.
We just ask not to put cash in the drop box and just put a check or money order. And if you wish us and want us to mail you a receipt, we can. You can put your payment in an envelope and just write on there, please mail us a receipt. And if you could, put your either property address in a description or some way we'll know it's your property, because several people in the county have several properties, and we'd have to decide which one it is.
Of course.
But we have found that the drop box is convenient to a lot of people.
So Dropbox, telephone number, and online.
Yes.
So we've talked about the Dropbox, which is right outside really the front door of the governmental center here in Wentworth. So let's have that telephone number, that toll-free telephone number to pay your property taxes.
It's 866-251-3264.
Perfect. How can folks at home pay online their property taxes?
It's www.ustaxdata.com/rock tax site.
So just to recap, come inside, wait in line, Dropbox outside the governmental center here in Wentworth.
Right.
Just no cash. We ask that you write a check, money order, that kind of thing. Mail it in, postmarked by January 5th, online or call via phone. Correct?
Yes.
Let's talk a little bit about online, just quick. Obviously, Rockingham County government has we have our web page. In that, there's the tax department. I know that you guys also have your own tax department website. Let's expand a little bit on that website, please.
On the website, we have all different options and things you can do. You can view your property. You can make your payment on there. You can pull the aerials up and see aerials of the property. We've made it very functional. We have we have forms on there to fill out, like for different options, exclusions, exemptions, and things you can do. We're always constantly trying to make it more user-friendly for people, and it seems to be a really good thing.
So we've talked about the January 5th delinquency date with property taxes. What other deadlines, dates should the folks at home be aware of when it comes to the tax department?
Listing forms is the first one.
Okay.
There's three I'm going to go over today, but listing forms is the first one.
Okay.
And it actually is January 1 to January 31. It has to be filed by then.
Okay.
What a listing form is you list all of the permanently non-tagged vehicles, ATVs, vehicles like that.
Okay.
And then if you have cats or dogs, you would list on that if you have. So all homeowners that have cats or animals should have, and if the animal has passed, hopefully it hadn't or anything like that, but if it has, please just list on there none. And then it is due by the end of January 31, and it has to be postmarked by January 31st in order to avoid a 10% penalty.
Gotcha.
On it.
Awesome. Okay, so those are two deadlines that we've talked about. Property taxes that are due January 6th, or delinquent after January 6th, and then your listing. You've got all of the month of January. What else do folks at home need to know about as far as deadlines?
Elderly or disabled exclusion is an exclusion that's offered through the state under General Statute 105-277.1. And the timely application period is January 1 to June 1st. This program, what it does is it excludes the greater of the first $25,000 or 50% of the appraised value of the home. So how that would include would be as if someone had a $200,000 home, they would only pay tax on $100,000 on the home. But there is a qualifying that you have to go through in order to get that exclusion. A owner must be either at least 65 years of age, or totally and permanently disabled. The owner cannot have an income for the previous year that exceeds the income eligibility for the current year. So we go off. So if someone was applying for 23, they're in this new period coming up, they could not exceed the income of 22 to get the eligibility for 23.
So with that being a difference in every year, I know that can be kind of confusing for the folks at home. So let's have that number, the tax department number. It's a lot of specific things.
Yes.
So let's have that telephone number that people can reach the tax department to get more information on the elderly and disabled exclusion. So what is that telephone number?
It's 336-342-8305.
Okay.
And when you call, just listen to the prompts, and it will prompt you through to the department we have that actually handles that.
Perfect.
Exemption.
So for you guys at home, like Mr. Hirsch just said, there's elderly and disabled exclusions when it comes to property taxes that you have to apply to be a part of or to benefit from. And you've got credentials that you obviously have to qualify for and whatnot. So if you just want to reach out to the tax department, and they will be glad to help you with any questions that you have. So that's elderly and disabled exemptions. Are there any other exemptions or deadlines that the folks at home should know about?
There's a disabled veteran exclusion too.
Okay.
That is available for totally disabled vets. And a disabled veteran is defined as a veteran whose character of service at separation was honorable or under honorable conditions, and who has a total and permanent service-connected disability, or who has received benefits for specially adapted housing under 38 U.S.C. 2101. So with this exclusion, the timely application period is January 1 until June 1st too. There is no income requirement for this. So it is really a simple process for someone who is disabled.
A veteran.
This one is an easier process than the elderly exclusion. The elderly exclusion will cause us a little more paperwork, but both of these are one-time apps. So once you do this and you're approved for it, you can get it for the rest of your life. And even on the disabled vet, your spouse could go to your spouse until they remarry.
Wow.
So it's really a great thing the state has to offer on that. The applicant must be totally disabled as of January 1.
Okay.
So if they were applying for 2023, they could have been claimed as disabled in 2022, they would be fine. But if they was claimed disabled in 23, they wouldn't be able to apply for the 23 year.
Perfect.
They would have
Thank
to wait.
you for explaining that. So just as we wrap up today, let's recap how folks at home could reach out to you guys if they've got any questions regarding the tax department.
If anyone wants to reach out to me directly, they can call my direct extension at 336-342-8293 or email me directly at thurst@co.rockingham.nc.us, and it will come directly to me. We also have another way of contacting if it's general questions. It's called tax admin, TAXADMN at co.rockingham.nc.us. And that's for general questions, and we can relay it to the other departments in here and make sure they get their questions handled.
Perfect. Let's get the tax department's telephone number one more time just to make sure that if you want to give them a good old call, what's that phone number?
It's 336-342-8305.
Perfect. Well, thank you, Todd, so much for your time today. And thank you guys at home for sitting down and talking with us. Again, my name is Rebecca. I'm the Public Information Officer for Rockingham County. If you at home have any questions about what we've talked about here today in the tax department or just Rockingham County questions in general, feel free to give me a call, 336-589-0967.